here, there's the flat lawn, there's the play area, there's some parking, and the community garden. So, we have some rather unimproved trails for the most part, and we have the curvy street. So that's the context. What we're going to do is, the way we're going to work this is we're going to basically just simply do a raised hand and make comments. And we think that if we distill the comments to kind of two categories. So we have two boards here. I'm going to take down that number, and we can always get it back. We have likes. We have likes and dislikes of the park. So over here we'll have likes and dislikes. And then on the other board, we are going to have changes and improvements. And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to call on people, and we're just going to write down any thoughts that you have. And then if we start to get to the point where some of them are repeated, you might want to just say, the idea of a drinking fountain or a bench or something, you add another mark or something, or we can write it again. And so what we want to do is basically have a list of all the thoughts that you have. And we can have a little bit of back and forth conversation on some of these points. We have, we have an hour and 15 minutes, so we have enough time. Yes?
I had a question before we go into this. Has the group gotten together and taken a walk through the park?
This is the first public meeting of this process.
Okay.
So everyone's kind of, I think the assumption is that you have some familiarity with the park, and that, so we're not planning on taking a walk through the park.
Well, no, I didn't mean tonight specifically. The reason that I asked the question is I've driven past there. I haven't taken, a walk through the place. And so my question is, because I don't know anybody and I'm living here less than a year.
Okay.
So I don't know how many other people are in my particular position, how many people go to the park on a regular basis. So I thought,
Why don't we? Yeah.
I don't mean to take you off track. I thought that if people have familiarity with the place, then it would be very fruitful to say, well, I like this, I don't like that. But if a lot of the folks who are here don't go there all the time and so forth, then how do you come up with what you like and you don't like, or changes?
Yeah. Well, okay. So let's just see a show of hands of people who are not really very familiar with the park and haven't spent much time in it. And then, so I guess the converse is that most people are very familiar with the park. Yeah. So, yeah. So I do think that you're going to valuable. In that, one of the things is, what do you want to get from a park? Even if it's there or not, what's valuable to you? And that would be a great comment to hear. Like, what is it about a park that gives you some kind of joy or benefit? And because that could be something that we don't lose track of that. Because preserve it. So even if you haven't been there, ideally, what is
I
something?
haven't actually walked through the park, I had driven, past and around. And I just, it occurred to me, so that's why I asked the question.
Yeah. That's fine. Let me just, well, I guess we can go ahead. Start.
Hi, I'm Angela. I've lived in Potrero Hill for almost 10 years now, and I'm like half a block from McKinley Square Park, and I use it a lot because I have dogs. So one of the things I love about it is that we do have an off-leash dog area, but what I don't like about it is that I don't think it's very user-friendly for humans and dogs, and two, more importantly, I just don't feel it's very safe.
Okay, so
For
there's
me,
a
so
conflict.
the safety is
conflict
kind of
between-
more of an issue, because even, when I walk my dogs, I usually walk them by myself, and even though I have two big huskies, oftentimes, I walk them in the mornings even at 10 or 11 in the morning, it's bright, but, oftentimes I encounter, random people kind of camping out. I just never feel like it's very safe, so for a while I just don't even use that area, I don't walk. So to me, it's great that we have it, but it's not really that, I wonder how much people
the
use it.
comments are, there's a conflict between dogs and humans, somewhat?
No, it's not. I did not hear that. No, there's not a conflict between dogs and humans. It's the usability of the space and also the safety of the
The
park
safety
in
of the park.
general.
And the first part
Because it's not just safety in that area. To me, I think a lot of people just don't go down in that area.
And then you're
because-
referring to the lower,
Yes,
the lower portion.
that off-leash dog area,
Yeah.
and it's great, we have those trails, and I'd love to use it because we have great views, but there's so much shrubbery and obscurity, and,
So,
even in bright
hiding
daylight.
places and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
just-
so
just
my
a-
suggestion would be some changes and improvements to that area that would make it more usable and more safe.
Yeah, and just to add on, we go to the park maybe once a week. I don't know that I've ever seen anyone down in
Rare,
the off-leash dog area.
except
So
people who
many
are kind
people
of,
feel uncomfortable or
Yeah.
unsafe in that area.
Well, honestly, I didn't even know it existed. I thought where we were supposed to go was where the grass was.
Okay. There's that.
it's a hot topic.
Can we catch that as better signage?
Wait 1 second, we're doing one at a time.
I want to ask two quick logistical questions. We had a meeting like this a year ago or something. Are
2
we
years
starting from scratch? Are we not going
Yes.
to refer to that
Yes.
stuff? Because
We're-
I thought there were a lot of good ideas in there
There
that would
were.
have been nice to refer to.
Yeah, there was a couple of meetings 2 years ago, exactly. And there were comments made, and we actually still have lists of those comments. But I think because the time lapse, and because of a variety of reasons, it just sort of ended up not progressing. This time, the intention is to progress and get to a plan. So rather than have the sense that perhaps stuff happened that not everyone had an opportunity to hear, we wanted to start from
Okay.
the beginning.
Well, I'd like to just express that I think it's a shame that we don't even review those, because I do think there were some ideas in there, but I understand that we need to move ahead here. And I have one other question. The western boundary here, is that, I think there was some discussion, there was ambiguity as to what is, do we now know that that really is the western boundary of Rec and Parks Department property?
I don't think I can answer that.
Okay. All right, maybe it would be good to figure
find
that
out.
out someday.
Yeah.
And then to keep the ball rolling, what I like about the park is that I've met a lot of nice people there, and I like the social atmosphere of people congregating there.
Okay. Can I just make
Just one comment. I didn't hear, only from you did I hear people dog conflict. I think what she mentioned, she didn't mention any people dog conflict.
Okay, it was the first sentence you made was something about that, but I may have misconstrued.
No,
But
I
that's
didn't
fine.
mean there's a people-dog
Yeah.
conflict.
Okay.
I just meant that when you do use it, the
Yeah.
safety, there's people who aren't from the neighborhood who may be camping out at night
Yeah,
or
and-
that kind of stuff.
Right, so it's more
So
about
it's
the
a safety
safety.
issue, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Hi, my name is Faith, and my comment's related to Angela's comment. I love the dogs, but sometimes when I want to exercise, I feel like I'm competing with the dogs, so maybe an idea would be to add like a park course or something where people are actually using it, not just the dogs, and so there's less like, you're there to be a riffraff or to walk the dog.
So could you specifically,
Or
do you
your
tend to
babies.
use the area on the top, or do you tend to use the trails down
I'll go
below?
on the grass. I'm, to be honest, a little afraid to go down in
Okay.
the path because I don't really know what that's
Yeah,
about.
so
and
you're referring
it's for dogs.
primarily
It seems
to-
like it's for dogs. Yeah, I'll do some drills like on the grass,
Uh-huh.
but it's so small and I feel like I'm in the dog's way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, the park, the upper section is a leash, dogs with leash area. It's not an off-leash dog designated area. This entire slope is designated off-leash dog area, and it's a very large area by the city standards. But that's not, I don't think that's the way it always gets used. Yes?
Oh, I was gonna say, an idea would be a clean and safe zone for kids and people where, similar to DuBose Park, where there's possibly no dogs allowed, just an idea, so that kids and older adults who maybe don't want to be knocked over by dogs can go.
Okay.
That's an idea.
Yes?
Today, I was talking to some mothers in the park, and they would like to have, in the children's play area, some grassy areas where the kids can play apart from the sandbox, and maybe extend the fence out a little bit so that some grass could be incorporated where the dogs don't go at all, where the kids can crawl and play. That was one comment. The other comment was the sun is very, very bright in the play area around noontime. They would like to have some shade so that the mothers can sit in the shade while the kids are playing, or have the kids in the shade also. And the third thing they said was a lot of babies are being toilet trained, and they would really like some kind of a facility, maybe like the French toilets that we have around the city, where they can take their children and change their diapers, and because we see once in a while they'll take them over behind the bushes and let them go there. So it would be nice if that was addressed also.
Okay. Yes?
It kind of the exact same thing is what I was going to say. As a mom, that's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say grassy area, so check on that and all of the things. And not only the shade for the parents waiting, but shade for some of the slides, like shade in general, because the slides can get really hot, and like different parts of the park currently can get like too hot for us to touch, and so then it's like shade, I guess. And on the dog area, signage, because I'm laughing going, really? It's supposed to be a leash area? No. So maybe some signage and some more clarity on that. The dogs are everywhere, which is fine.
Yes.
I put it out to a parent listserv and I got some individual feedback. So if you could just put checks next to the shade and some kind of toilet facility, grass, those are all huge and massive even. But in addition to that, I would add a dedicated fountain within the children's play area. Would be nice. And the other thing is the actual play equipment. It's fairly age specific, and I think what was done over at Franklin expands, it encompasses more ages of children, including even adults to some extent.
Yeah, I think the current one is more preschool, and it's not the 5 on it.
Yeah, so, we should update the play equipment, we should recognize.
Yes?
Yes, I want to mirror her comments. I like the big swings.
The big wood ones.
Whether the feasibility of making the lower hot dog beach area more level, putting in terraces so it's used for this. And perhaps a sound wall, whether that be greenery or actual concrete, to make it more enjoyable and more usable. And it's not used right now.
Yes, and also to echo his point and promote the use of the lower area, to talk about what Angela was talking about and Faith, about a lot of people have trepidation about going to the lower area. I think certainly one safety improvement that could happen in the lower area, and I've talked to actually someone just an hour ago about this, is some better lighting down there